Okay, so it looks like you wanted help with 729 and 730. So remember I had done the PowerPoint for you guys with your irregular verbs. There are, I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can pop it out. Um, when you're dealing with the irregular verbs, let's see here. I think I have, I just want to try to get back to where I told you the page numbers. Okay, so these irregular verbs, the ones you're using over here, you can find on page 220 and 224 of your text. The first set that they give you are, ser, let's see, what do you have in here? Poder, traer, saber. Uh, let's see. Yeah. Saber, poder. Okay, so you don't have any of these guys. All right, so we're going to go down to the next set of them. So let's see, but they do talk about haber. Okay, so haber. Whenever you have haber for the preterite, you're just going to use hubo. There is no other option. It's just hubo. So like for number 1 up here, you should have put hubo. That's it. Okay. Now, for the rest of these guys, you're going to want to look at that chart that I had right here. Let's see, did I put it here? Okay. So when you look at this chart right here, these they're calling them strong preterites. They're irregular, meaning that they are not using in so whenever a verb is irregular, it means it's either not using the endings that it's supposed to, or you've done something to the stem, or you've done something to both. For these guys, it's going to be both. So these are your AR endings, and your ER IRs are the same, right? Well, there's a set of your regular endings that's going to go with all of these verbs, like estar, poner, querer, tener, saber. These are them. They're a combination of your AR, ER, IRs. Like an E for the yo, that's what you would do in the AR form, but an iste is what you would do for the ER, IR form. An O would be what you would do for the ARs, and imos, istes, and hieron is what you would use for ER-IRs, okay? What makes them different is that you'll see there's an accent always with all the other verbs in the preterite tense. You're always putting an accent mark when you're in the yo form or the usted elia form. With these irregulars, the yo and the usted elia form do not get accented. Okay, so then these are, you'll have to memorize these endings, the e, iste, o, imos, istes, hieron. Then you just need to memorize the change stem that's used for each of these guys because they have the change stem, and then you attach these endings to it. So a star, instead of using an EST, you have to use estuv. For poner, instead of using PON, you use PUS. For querer, instead of using QUER, you use quis. For tener, instead of using TEN, you use tuv. For saber, instead of using SAB, you use soup. And for poder, instead of using POD, you use pud, PUD. And for venir, instead of using VEN, you use VIN. Okay. Um, and then, I don't know if I can go, let me see something. Okay, so then the only ones that are a little bit different in that category are decir and traer. Because they have a J in their stem, they have those irregular endings except you drop the I. So for all of these guys, you have an I in the third person plural in the ustedes, ellos, ellas forms. But for decir and traer, you drop the I. So whenever there's a J in the stem, before you add the ending for third person, you're gonna drop the I. Okay. So that's what's going on out here. You have okay, yo poder. So when you go back out here to your chart and you look at poder, poder is PUD, and then you add these endings. If it's yo, you're gonna add an E, and you get pude. Okay, so that's what should go here. Pude. And then over here, y ponerse muy. Okay, so ayer hubo un partido de béisbol en Fenway Park y yo pude ver a mi equipo favorito, los Red Sox de Boston. blank, ponerse muy contento. Remember, this is reflexive. So it's just like math. When you learn how to do something, you're supposed to know how to, like if you learned how to add and you did multiplication, when you go on and you start doing calculus, you're doing geometry, you're not taught again how to add or how to do multiplication. It's expected that you already know how to do that skill. So the same thing is going on here. Since it's reflexive, you just want to put the reflexive pronoun in front of the conjugated verb, because we know that those reflexive means you're doing it to yourself. And in this case, we often, when we become a particular emotion, we make it reflexive. So I became very I got really happy when I saw them. So, so since it's we're going to put a me over here, and then I have poner that I'm messing with. And if I go back out here for the yo form, I won't do it, is you use that pus, and then you add those endings, you get puse. So me puse muy contenta. Okay. Mis amigos, venir. So if you pop back out, it's another one of those irregulars. Venir would be been, and then it's my friends, so you add ieron, vinieron. Okay. Desde otra ciudad para ir al estadio conmigo y ellos traer. So we remember traer is one of those that's a little bit different from these. It didn't go. In the third person, it drops the I because we have a J. So trajeron. Ellos trajeron sus entradas. Durante el partido, nosotros saber. So then we want to go back out here. What is the stem for saber? Saber is S-U-P. If it's for nosotros, it becomes supimos. So that's what you put here. And this one changes meaning in the preterite, so it actually means we found out. Let me move this over. So, durante el partido nosotros supimos que había 37,000 personas en el estadio. Otro aficionado nos lo blank. So the other fan told us. So you're conjugating for the fan. Remember, you don't ever conjugate for these guys. You conjugate for who's doing the saying or telling. And remember, you're going to have object pronouns with say and tell because you're usually saying something to somebody or telling something to someone. Okay, so we would go back out here to this slide. Here's decir for aficionado, the fan would be dijo, and that's what you would put in here. Los Red Sox ganaron el partido. Blank tu ver el partido también. We've got poder. We're doing it for two. If you go down back to this slide, and we have poder. Poder is P-U-D. I add those endings, which would give me pudiste. And that's how you would do 729. And let's just double check, make sure I didn't spell anything wrong. Okay, so that's how you would do 729. Okay, so 730 was the exact same thing. Okay, so you have hacer. It says el mes pasado yo hacer un viaje a la casa. So you have to put it into the preterite tense. So again, you would want to go out here. Hacer is H-A. Hold on a minute, it's not. Okay. So hacer is on this slide. It's H-I-C, but when it's in third, I think you're doing it for yo. But the only thing is there is a spelling change for third person singular because we want to conserve sound. If it's an H-I-C, that makes a sound. If we put a C here in the third person, we would get a k sound. So to keep the sound, you have to change it to a Z. But even still, I think it's yo, so it's H-I-C plus these irregular endings, which would be an E. So it would be hice. Okay, so el mes pasado yo hice un viaje a la casa de un amigo en República Dominicana. Allí mi amigo Manuel y yo, again, we have that poder. So if we go back, actually, I think I can just keep doing this. If we go back a slide, here's my poder, it's pud, and we were having that for mi amigo Manuel y yo, we could, so pud for we is pudimos, So that's what you would put here. Okay. Nosotros blank ir a la capital. For ir, we have to go back a few more slides. Okay, so here, ir and ser have the same spellings, but remember, ir and ser are super irregular. You're just going to have to memorize them. And so in this case, what is it saying? We went. So here's your ir. For we, it would be nosotros, and you would use fuimos. Okay. Donde, so we went to the capital where we could see. So then we're using ver. Ver is also irregular. It uses the right endings, but because it's so small, it drops the accent marks. It's still we, so we is vimos, which you would put right here. Okay. Luego Manuel y yo hacer. Okay, so we would go back out and go down to where we had hacer. Here's our hacer. If it's Manuel y yo, remember we're using ik. The only one that has an additional spelling change is right here. And we would add that IMOS and we get hicimos. Whoops, here. Okay. Hicimos una excursión al interior de la isla. Nosotros estar en la playa de, so now we need estar, but it is also still for we. So if we go back up, where am I? That's examples. Where's my star? Okay, so estar again still gets those funky endings, and so but the stems for estar and tener are estuve and tuve, so you use that estuve, and then for we is estuvimos. Okay. Estuvimos en la playa de Sosua. También en la ciudad de Santiago de los Caballeros. Por la noche fuimos a ver un partido de béisbol donde querer conocer a los jugadores. It's probably still we. We want to know. We want to get to know the players. Remember, querer is quis. If it's we, it's quisimos. Okay. And then conocer a los jugadores, pero nosotros no tener suerte. So you're still using those endings. Tener is tuve, so for we it's tuvimos. And then después de estar una semana en Santo Domingo, yo venir para los Estados Unidos. Now it's yo. Venir is been, so for yo it's vine. Y traer regalos para todos. If we're talking about traer, remember that traer has the J in it. So with traer, we want to keep the J, and we use those endings. The only place that it's a little different is in the third person plural where we drop the I, but it would be I, so it's traje, like I bring the gifts. Okay. And then you hit finish and submit for grading to just double check. Yep, so that's how you do both of those.